Welcome to the 10x Your Success Story online summit, where 30 experts will share their skills, secrets, and shortcuts to help you achieve your most ambitious dreams. My name is Jeric, and I am your host. Our guest is a serial entrepreneur and a registered financial planner. He is the man behind the famous blog, Ready to Be Rich, which is recognized as the best business finance blog by the Philippine Blog Awards and top 100 best personal finance blog by Wisebread Community. He is often invited to speak at conferences such as Money Summit and Wealth Expo, and he is the author of several books such as The Ready to Be Rich Guide to Investing, Affordable Legacy, and Money Troubleshooters. Let us welcome Fitz Villafuerte. Hi, Fitz.
Hello, hi, and a good day to all our students who's watching this video today. Hi.
Awesome. Glad to have you here. You said, Fitz, that what helped you achieve all this, the things that you now have, is your skill about financial planning and management. How did you get started in this skill, and how did this help you 10x your success?
Well, as most people would have, I started as an employee. I am a civil engineer by education, and that was my profession for the first few years of my life. So, as an engineer, of course, I enjoy the relatively high salary, but I've always felt that it was not enough. I had a lot of things that I wanted to spend on, to buy on, and that eventually prompted me to try freelancing. So after a few years of being an employee, I tried my hand on freelancing. I became a system analyst as a freelance software developer, and again I was making good money, but I
Yep.
felt that it was not enough. And eventually, a friend of mine told me that, why don't you try to start a business, start a business? And that's what I did. I put up an internet cafe during the time. It was one of the up and coming or the trending businesses.
Mhm.
And again, I would say I enjoyed the good success in being an entrepreneur. But deep inside, I still felt that I wasn't earning enough. I still had some credit card debts that I couldn't pay. I had some business loans and personal loans that was really keeping me from really saying that I am enjoying what I am doing. And after some time, I realized that it's not really how much money you're making, but it's
Yep.
really how you are managing your money. And that started me into the field and the industry of personal finance. And oftentimes when I do speaking engagements and I tell people about my story, a lot of them are surprised and a lot of them could relate because a lot of them really focus on making a lot of money or getting promoted to the job, pursuing a lot of projects, but all fail to manage or to properly manage their money, to make sure that your expenses are not uh, as much as to make sure that they are not spending uh, way ahead than what they're making,
Yep.
because really that's the key there. A lot of people, when they start earning more, they tend to spend more, and if you do not monitor it, if you don't manage your spending, you'll end up spending more than what you're earning, and that will really bring you to some financial trouble. So that was really how I started, and of course, that's also how I discovered that, hey, I have some competency, I have some skill on this field. So I eventually pursued that field. But of course, I still have my businesses. I still do some freelance work,
Mhm.
and but now I am really focused on personal finance, which is now my industry, but also my advocacy, and I help people how to properly manage their finances.
Awesome. I really agree with what you said that most people focus on earning more, but they spend as much as they earn. That's why it feels like at the end of the month, what we earn is not really enough. So, we are in this vicious
Yeah.
cycle of looking for a new job that's going to, pay for our lifestyle, but we're going to again increase our lifestyle, right? So I really, that's a really good point. What you pointed out. So thank you for sharing that to us. Do you have any like quick tip on how we could start managing our income?
Well, it all starts with really tracking your expenses. Know how much you are spending each month, because monthly expenses that has a lot of use when it comes to personal finance. Well, of course, it helps you make sure that what you're earning is enough with what you're spending. If you're spending a lot more than you're earning, then it's time for you to really find expenses that you can minimize or even eliminate. So you
Mhm.
cannot do that if you don't track your expenses. When I say track your expenses, really writing down the things that you spend on, even the small mineral bottle of mineral water that you bought earlier, and the impulse purchases that you had. Because once you pinpoint these small expenses, your habitual expenses that you're not really even conscious of, then it's easier to identify them and then eliminate them, so that you can improve your spending. And of course, once you are able to learn how much you're spending in a month, you can optimize your spending. You can eliminate unnecessary purchases. You can even actually try to see how you can find cheaper alternatives to the things that you spend on. No?
Yep.
So that's really the first step: tracking your expenses.
All right. Thank you for that quick tip. It's all about tracking our expenses and then optimizing our lifestyle. To find what we could
Yes.
minimize. Awesome. Um, I'm really curious, Fitz, because you've experienced obviously a lot of things in your business. I mean, you've been an employee, you've been a freelancer, and right now you are a serial entrepreneur, right? What else do you
Yes.
wanna experience in life, and what drives you to succeed at that?
Well, I think there's still a lot of financial goals that I want to achieve. And of course, these financial goals, you can always say na, you can, a lot of people say na parang this is the bucket list, no? I still have a lot of things on my bucket
Yep.
list. And in terms of achievement, I don't really see it as like an achievement, but it's a list of things that I want to do, no? And when it comes to, of course, me, this is just me. Of course, yeah, the very common goal that a lot of people have is to travel. So of course, I have my travel goals that I want to achieve. And then there's also a couple of businesses that I'm really to interested in pursuing and putting up. So it's not really a lot of grand things that I want to achieve, but there's a list that I am following, that I am trying to pursue for now, no? And I believe that a lot of people should also be like that. It's not really the usual life story that I should get married, buy a house, have a family, and then be happy. It's not really like that, no? When it comes to success, you define your own success, and one of the easiest way to define your own success is to have your personal list that will give you self-fulfillment, that will give you um, even happiness and enjoy life, no? So sharing what the things that I want to achieve may not be the things that you want to achieve. I know some people, they really after uh, buying their own house, for example. But for me, I'm the type of person that who doesn't really have that dream house, because for me, my goal is to really travel. So I have a list of countries that I want to visit. So that's my version of the things that I want to achieve. No? So I guess that's it.
All right. I mean, thank you for that. Here's what I'm learning about this. Um, it's all about learning who you are inside, right? Because we have, as you said, we have different values, right? We value different things. For some people, it's about buying that dream house, and for you, it's about traveling. For others, it's about creating the business that you want. So it's really about learning who you are, and then designing a life and your finances to actually um, meet
Yes,
that goal.
yes.
Um, Now let's go to the meat and potatoes of our interview, because a lot of people are interested in knowing this. Let's say, knock on wood, that
Hmm.
you suddenly lose everything. All right, you lose your all your money, all your businesses, all your contacts, your name, and all other assets that you have. It's literally back to square one. But the only thing that you have is your core skill, which is financial planning and management. Right? What are the next three steps that you're going to do to recoup everything that you now have?
Well, your question reminds me of the bankrupt twice in life. No, that's an interesting story that I'd like to share. Well, the first time that I went bankrupt, it was really because I was in a financial mess. I had bad financial habits. I was really a big spender. I was deep in debt, and that was actually my wake up call to make myself better as a person and really learn how to manage my money. The second time that I went bankrupt was when I went all in on a specific business. I really poured all my resources on that business, and of course, I wasn't really successful. So I found myself back to square one. So if ever the same thing happens again, I believe that the first thing that you can do, that I will do, is take an inventory of what I have. Of course, not everything will be taken away from you.
Yep.
You have your skills. I have my skill of financial planning, of course, and you will have some assets left, and you have your skills and knowledge. Those will not be taken away from you. All you have your resources, you have your friends who I'm sure will be willing to help you get back up on your feet. And then after the taking an inventory, so that's the first step. My second step would be, of course, again, the importance of knowing how much your spending is, uh, trying to earn back the cash that you have to eat every day. So your focus is to find the cash flow that will allow you to live your daily expenses. If it means, for me, finding a job, going back to being an employee, that's okay, because that's not the end of your story. It's
Yep.
just one of the chapters that I will go through. Find a job so that I can immediately have cash flow and I can pay for the food to eat every day. But again, we go to the third step, which is rebuilding back what I've had. So from my experience, the way that I rebuild the way that I will rebuild my wealth is, of course, finding multiple sources of income. So I guess while being an employee, I will find a way to make extra income. I could probably do some freelancing work. I can probably write a new business plan for a new business. Um, Go back to entrepreneurship sooner or later, and I'm very sure that I'll be able to rebuild what I've had before, as long as, of course, I am very conscious with my expenses, with my cash flow,
Mhm.
making sure that I am not spending again more than what I'm earning, and of course, the basic skills that I have when it comes to that is financial management will help me find new opportunities, go into new investments that will help me earn more.
All right. So let's just have a recap. You said that your first step would be to, take an inventory of everything that you have. So it could be your skills, what assets are left, etc. Your step two would be to make a plan on how to get everything back. So it might be, to make sure that you are covering your regular expenses, monthly expenses. So it could be that you're going to do that by applying for a job or looking for a job, or offering some freelance services. Then step three would be to build your multiple sources of income, right? Um, Meaning you said that while having a job, you could offer some freelance stuff, build a business. Did I get that right?
Yes, that's right. No, a lot of people, you ask them how many sources of income that you have, they'll probably say just one or two. But the way that I rebuilt my finances during the time when I went bankrupt on the business, that was the lesson that I learned, because I poured everything on one business. When the business died, uh, I lost all my cash flow. So just like my plan for if ever this happens again. I am now smarter not to rely on just one source of income, on one cash flow. So uh, if you can focus on one specific source of income and then make it secure, make it automatic, make it turn it into a passive income,
Mhm.
then you can move on to the next source of income that you can build. No, um, that's why a lot of people call me a serial entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur.
It's because I like putting up a business and then making sure that the business can eventually run without me, because that's the key. Once the business is stable and once I have enough employees to who can run the business, I try to move on to another venture. I will start and build a new business, and of course the old business, it will run on its own. And then before I know it, just like now, I have two online businesses and around four offline businesses, and that's a total of six.
Wow.
And plus, I also have some freelance work. I have I have several clients, and all of these are keeping me afloat. And even if one or two of these income sources go away, that will not affect my finances. So that's basically step three: building multiple sources of income so that it won't happen again. No, the going bankrupt and losing everything,
Yes.
because I think you're really um, a very unlucky person if all of those things will go away.
Yep.
Usually, it's just one or two aspects of your life that will have some problems in it. So make sure that one financial problem will not take you to a financial disaster. No?
I'm actually amazed with your story because you said that you were bankrupt like twice, right? But you
Yes.
were able to surpass that. Can you like give us an example of what um, different sources of income have you tried and what works? So meaning, I'm just maybe looking for different sources of income that our audience can start building.
Well, of course, the immediate thing that you can do is find work, find employment. That's really the easiest way to build a cash flow, a stable cash flow. But you have to commit yourself that it's not the end. A lot of people, they become complacent when they find a good paying job. For me, I considered it as just one step of the way that I want to go. The next thing that you can do is really look at your skills and then find a skill that you can offer as a freelancer. Okay?
Mhm.
So the good thing about being a freelancer is you are getting paid for the skills that you have. So it's almost zero capital. So just offer a service that you can earn from. And of course, you can do this freelance work after office and during the weekends. During that time, I often tell that it took me around 3 years to go back up from being bankrupt from my business to having a stable cash flow. And during those years, that's how I learned to not watch television, right? So I quit watching television during that time. And that's how I discovered, wow, I actually have so much free time to do some freelancing work the moment that I decided that I will stop watching television. So um, after you've built your freelance career, actually that's already something that you can eventually transform into business. A lot of freelancers, they claim that I am a freelancer and I have a freelancing career. However, those who I meet, as the successful freelancers I meet, they usually refer to what they do as I have a freelancing business. So it's a different mindset, because those who are trying to build a freelancing business, their real goal is to eventually hire people, hire staff who can eventually do the work that they're doing, so that they can eventually remove themselves from the business and move on to the next project. So it's really about focus, I would say. Focus meaning follow one course until successful. So that's a common lesson that a lot of successful and inspirational speakers say, no? And I can attest to the effectivity of that. So just focus on one project and turn that project into a business, turn that project into a stable source of income, and then make sure that you will not be trapped in that business. Design it in such a way that it will run on its own, or it just needs very little management from you, and then you move on to the next source of income. So all of this, while you're building it, don't be ashamed that you have an employee salary. So a lot of people, they demonize being an employee. I don't believe in that. Of course, having a regular job that really keeps you afloat, that pays for the bills and the food that you eat every day. But the thing is, most people, the mistake that most people do is they become complacent once they have a stable job. Of course, always remember that even that job can be taken away from you suddenly one day. You know? I met a lot of people who suddenly lose their jobs because the company was downsizing, or they were acquired by another company. And of course, a lot of times you don't have an idea that this will happen. All of this, 90% of the time, the people who lost their jobs, they were fired from their job just without any signal or without any warning. So
Yep.
that could happen to you. So don't be complacent with your job, but be thankful that you have a job. So the key really is building your multiple sources of income, one project, one business at a time. And yun nga, before you know it, you'll have several businesses running, you have several sources of income that is giving you the money and allowing you to afford your financial goals, afford your dreams, do the things that you want, buy the things that you want. Yeah.
That's actually a good plan. I mean, finding a work and then doing, side hustle on at nights and on weekends, and giving up TV, right? Just to give way for work, because a lot of people think that they don't have any time, but when they audit their day, they do Netflix, they watch YouTube a lot, they go on social media a lot. So that's actually a good advice to go on unemployment, then build your freelancing career, and then try to turn it on a self-managed business, or a meaning you try to systemize things so that it won't
Yes.
take up a lot of your time. All right, thank you for sharing with us the 3 steps that you're going to do if you ever lose everything. Now, down to the last question. Um, what else are you looking to contribute to the world, and how are you planning on achieving it?
Well, I found my personal advocacy to be financial literacy, and I believe that this is something that I'll still be doing for the next decade or the next several years, because I really enjoy helping people with their personal finance. There's a self fulfillment, especially those who come to me and they are deep in credit card debt, and then I am able to help them. And after 4 or 5 years, they come back to me and they all tell me how their lives have improved. and how much I've helped them, how much I've been able to change their lives. So that is really something that I am very happy to do. So I believe that I will pursue personal finance and financial education for the next several years pa. And of course, one of the things that I'm doing just like now, um, I've put up my own financial planning firm last year. So that is now my focus actually. That is one of the things that is taking up most of my work time, building that business, and of course, as always, finding a way to eventually automate it after a couple of years. And I've been partnering with other financial institutions and taking in a lot of my time to systematize everything so that there will be a way for me to spread financial literacy with not it's not just me doing it, but I will have a team. And of course, I am also trying to build online courses like this uh, to be able to teach people about personal money management and practical investing strategies. So there's still a lot of work that I want to do. So I'm taking it one step at a time, but it's really towards financial management, financial planning, and helping a lot more Filipinos when it comes to their personal finance. Because according to a Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, according to a recent government survey, only 3 out of 10 people or 3 out of 10 Filipinos are actually financially literate. So there's really a lot of work to be done when it comes to financial advocates such as me. And that includes also collaborating with other financial advocates, financial educators into doing bigger projects so that more Filipinos will avoid getting victimized by scams. A lot of Pinoys, they fall prey into financial scams because they lack the financial education to identify that these schemes are out there to just get their money. So this is something that I see myself doing for the next several years or up to a decade more. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. And there you have it. I mean, boom, there are a lot of value bombs after value bombs on this interview. So, how can we follow you, Fitz? Do you have any free resources for us?
Well, I've been writing my blog for more than 12 years now, and everything there is free, so they can just visit my blog. My blog is called Ready to Be Rich, but it is at fitzvillafuerte.com.
All
So
right.
FITZ, no R. A lot of people make that mistake. So
Yeah, Fritz.
fitzvillafuerte.com. So that's my blog. Everything is there. You will have there's a link going to my Facebook page. You can follow me on Twitter there, and all the other resources that I have, including if ever I have some webinars, online webinars, and online courses that I'm offering to people, I surely announce it on my blog. And they can check out readytobreach.com. That's actually just a portal. If they really want to read about personal finance, they can go to my blog. So that's fitzvillafuerte.com.
All right, we're going to paste the link below the video. Again, that is fitzvillafuerte.com. Thank you
Yes.
for sharing with us your skills and shortcuts, Fitz. Uh, this is a really wonderful interview, and have a nice day.
All right. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.